COVID-19 Environment Impact by Ashlyn Villarreal. Objective: show how the coronavirus pandemic has affected human impact on the environment by analyzing a graph and writing a narrative on the graph. In your opinion, which one of the four impacts do you think the environment impacts the most? Why? In my opinion, I think that the habitat impacts the environment the most since I believe that it has a big role affecting everything. For example, deforestation causes carbon emissions. According to the understory, deforestation is responsible for 10% of all global warming emissions. Habitats also reveal a big role since it's part of the many biomes included. For instance, the ocean is being polluted by waste, the forest trees are being cut down annually, and deserts are being affected by climate change. Overall, habitats impact the environment the most because of these reasons. However, this is also human actions, so with the pandemic happening, I think that habitats might impact the environment less. The COVID-19 pandemic's impact on the environment. What we know from this article: carbon emissions have decreased since the pandemic started. Waste, especially plastic and medical, has increased since the pandemic started. And wildlife and habitats are unhealthier since the pandemic started. All of our streaming and data used at home has used more energy since the pandemic started. Do you believe that changes in carbon emissions, waste, wildlife, and habitats, or the amount of energy used during the pandemic will have the biggest impact on our environment? Use at least two pieces of evidence from the articles. I believe that the waste would have the biggest impact on our environment due to the fact that carbon emissions, wildlife, and habitats aren't being dramatically impacted negatively by COVID 19, as opposed to the waste that has significantly increased. According to the data on waste by Vengage, it establishes how the medical waste has quadrupled to 200 tons per day. Furthermore, people buy gloves, goggles, fully equipped suits in order to treat patients and get near people who are infected by the virus. This leads to throwing away all these certain supplies to not risk getting infected ourselves. As a matter of fact, the article also states that the rest of the world braces for a huge increase in infectious waste. This advocates the idea that since we throw away the medical equipment that has been exposed to the coronavirus, it has led to the increase of waste. Therefore, having a large amount of waste that's been infectious can result in a source of contamination and may be able to infect people around that large sum of waste. Analyzing and interpreting data from the article in Boston Stay at Home Orders Clean the Air. Analyzing and interpreting graphs. So these are the two graphs that we would be contrasting. Write a short narrative on the analysis of the graph about the patterns and trends you see. In the graph, the x-axis represents the hours of the day, while the y-axis represents the levels of nitrogen oxide. This shows that before and after the stay-at-home order in Boston. Furthermore, both graphs are being compared by the years 2016 through 2019 versus the year 2020 on the same day, March 23rd through April 10th, in order to review the differences and how the pandemic stay-at-home order has cleaned the air in Boston. As you can see, there is a dramatic difference being presented in the line graph. Before the stay-at-home order, the nitrogen levels were soaring and matching the data from 2016-2019. But after the stay-at-home order, the line graph shows a significant decline of nitrogen levels. In contrast to 2016-2019, when it was 5 hours a day, the numbers of nitrogen oxide peaked and lowered as if it went to 10 to 15 hours a day, then increased again at 20 hours. Moreover, the 2000 data reveals something differently. As opposed to peaking at 5 hours a day, the levels of nitrogen oxide were around 10 to 15 ppb, in contrast to the 2016 and 2019 level, which was around 30 ppb. Overall, the pattern between shows that it usually increases in the beginning and lowers in the middle, then slowly decreases again at the end of both graphs. Create predictions on the data. In my opinion, I believe that the numbers will increase again. Although the numbers have lowered, there might be a slight decrease in air pollution. But as we begin to reopen the economy and lift the stay-at-home order, the numbers will soon increase. Ask 3 scientific questions. Should there be a limit on how much pollution each country should produce? Will there be a way to distribute COVID-19 vaccines in order and not chaotically? Will there be a meeting in the future about how to better prepare for an upcoming pandemic that may happen in the future? And these are my references. Thank you.